back to the Bucket Think Tank. So we have a special book today. Well, is it really special? No, it's a rare book, a book we don't tend to get often. Mr. Terrific Year One, written by Al Letson. And the reason this is special is because, well, Mr. Terrific doesn't really get a lot of books. Usually he's on the JSA, currently he's on Justice League Unlimited, but he doesn't really get on the list of people who need a book. All right. He's more in lines with your Hawkmans, your Stargirls, your Doctor Fates, your Jay Garricks. You know, they're better suited on the team. You could also say the same is true for, say, Cyborg on the Teen Titans. Even when he was on the Justice League, he couldn't really carry a book. So I was excited. Last time he had anything close to his own book was The Terrifics, which was a book where he led a team of basically people messed up by the events of the Dark Multi. Well, not the Dark Multiverse. No, no. Was it the Dark Multiverse? Yeah, something involving like Barbatos, which led to a story about Perpetua, which just became a story about Batman. That whole story works on a meta level. It really does. But anyway, Mr. Terrific actually is one of my favorite DC characters, which means I don't have a lot of material on him, despite the fact I like him. Like, really, we have his origin, which is found in the pages of the Spectre, and outside of that, he had a pretty significant role to play in Strange Adventures, um, or the Adam Strange book. And was it called Strange Adventures? I think it was just called the Adam Strange book, which I liked for the most part till we got to the ending. Um, then there was, of course, the his Future's End story, which happened in New 52, which took place a couple years into the future. Did not like that take on him. I liked his appearance in World's Finest with Huntress and Power Girl, but really he hasn't had much of a time to sort of shine. I think the problem is people don't quite know how to approach the third smartest man on the planet. Like how do you do that? That's his thing. He's the bronze medalist of geniuses, and I'd say that doesn't really matter unless you're the silver and gold level geniuses on the planet. Like I don't care what those below bronze have to say about me. Whatever. But anyway, so year one, title says it all. This should be his first year, okay? So, how does this book hold up? Mm, I like the beginning, which talks a bit about him, where he's been. Like, I've led teams like the JLA, the JSA, I've led my own team, and his greatest weapon's always been his mind. And here, what he's talking about is during the events with Darkseid and DC's All In, he remembered feeling that energy before. Something about Darkseid is connected to something in his past. And so he's got to go back to Gateway City. And what's weird is we don't see him actually go back to Gateway City. We see a flashback. But what's interesting about this is Gateway City is also where Absolute Wonder Woman takes place. And I'm wondering if that's ever a good idea to have too many superheroes in one spot. I mean, Marvel does it all the time. There's a bunch of superheroes in New York, which begs me the questions of why there's so much crime in New York. And it's not like a superhero quote unquote team, like, your Bat family is all in Gotham City for the most part. That to me isn't as big a deal. But if you've got all these different individual superheroes, crime should not be a problem. But whatever, whatever. So we go back to then. So this takes place after the death of his wife Paula and their unborn child in a car accident. And then we're at 6 months later, his friend Dre comes in, like, dude, what are you doing? You gotta get out of bed. You gotta come here and interact with the world. He's acting like he's fine. He's just been working on these other things, like a skeleton key to open any lock, and his T sphere, and like a proto of his T sphere, apparently. And I'm like, okay, but all none of these ideas are really sort of working the way they're supposed to. In other words, he might not be in the right frame of mind. He's also helping his friend Dre with sort of hologram technology for his personal trainer business. I'm like, okay, that's interesting, but whatever. Dre also manages like you're the third smartest man on the planet. He hates being called that. My question is, who decided he was the third smartest man on the planet? I don't know, but Dre has something else to talk about, which is sort of where this story, I think, for me, starts to hit a hiccup. He's like, hey, You sold whole industries to Athena. What was it? 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 Prescott, Athena Prescott, and her whole Prescott Tower, all right, has been causing problems in the lower aspect of the city, or the bottoms, as it's called. In other words, the low income era of Gateway City, and it's causing people like, hey, kids are getting sick, people developing vertigo, and it always happens whenever she turns on the tower. And Dre wants, hey, I want you to speak, speak out. The people will listen to you. They love you. I'm like, okay, so he's a big deal, but he's just like he can't. When he sold over whole industries, he there's a thing that put in his contract that he can't disparage her. I'm like, okay, okay. And this comes up the question as exactly why he sold to Paula, to why he sold to Athena Prescott. Like, well, because she says she wanted to help people. And Dre brings out a very good point. You could have sold it to Wayne Tech or Queen Industries, but you didn't, or because it would have taken too long. He just wanted to be done with it. He has lost his mojo effectively. And he's like, you know what? This isn't what Paula would want. You need to do better. And he leaves. And then it turns out that, hey, Athena Prescott is, having a closed session with the with the mayor and the city about exactly what her tower is doing. She's like, hey, look, you know what? Either we go through with this, or there are a whole bunch of other cities that want this technology, want this energy. I can go somewhere else, and that shuts it down. I'm like, okay, all right. Now this to me is the best part of the whole comic. All right, it's Michael going to the grave of his wife. To probably like there's been a black hole that's opened up. It consumes all the light in the room. And it wasn't Paula wasn't just his partner; she was living, his living memory. Where she had all the stories that made him who he is. If he ever got lost, she would remind him. And now he doesn't quite know who he is or where he's going. So I'm like, okay, okay, this to me is it. This is all we really needed. We should have started off here, okay? Or in my mind, we should start off with the actual event in question, because it's not like everyone knows who Mr. Terrific is. He's showing up in Superman Legacy, but we're not going to go in depth on his character, more than likely. So anyway, that later that night or at some point in the future, um, Dre is apparently leading a group of people to infiltrate Prescott Industries, all right, and download information on the tower. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know he was doing that. He took the skeleton key that Michael was working on, and they get the stuff, but she was ready for them. So he calls Michael, hey, Michael, did you pick me up? And Michael comes and picks him up with his, the car he's been working on and the glasses he's been working on. And, to get him out of there, Dre says, look, I got the files, I got everything, what they've been doing, and it's going to fix everything. But, Athena Prescott's people track Dre down, and they point out that, Michael is wearing some sort of surveillance disruptor, so they don't know who he is, which is actually good because if it's found out that Michael has any connection to these people, then that could be viewed as him quote unquote disparaging Athena Prescott, which means that could all get thrown out. And yeah, Dre shot, and that's how the first issue ends. I Let's get to my face for all the good it does. I'm of two minds with this. I'm happy to see Mr. Terrific here. I'm just glad. I'm happy to see his year one. All right, but I don't know. I don't think the first issue should have been about the plot coming this fast. Like I don't know how many issues it's gonna be. Probably 6 issues for year one. Um so we'll see. I don't really care about Dre. Dre seems all over the place like, "Hey, I'm trying to get into the personal training business but I'm also infiltrating corporations." Like, oh, okay. I mean, granted it stands to reason that Dre is probably pretty smart. All right, to be friends with Michael and Paula. So there's that. But I think we're not spending enough time with Michael and his grief. It's been 6 months since his wife and unborn child have died in a car accident. It's weird to me that that didn't play a role in this story. Again, I think the first issue should have been just Michael living his life. All right, seeing how he was at the top of his game and then have the accident happen. And then see him sort of deal with that. And then we jump ahead 6 months. All right. Again, Superman Legacy is not going to delve into this. I highly doubt it. I will be very surprised if it does. Um, So yeah, this issue should be doing. This issue should be the first introduction to people into Mr. Terrific. All right, and I don't think it does a good job of that. First issue though, I'm gonna keep going because hey, if we judge everything by issue one, half the stuff we wouldn't even read anymore. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm not seeing the hook though. All right, I think we see the beginning of the T spheres. If you look at the shades he's wearing, I think that is the beginning of the T mask that he wears. It makes it hard so that surveillance cameras can't see him. I'm one, but they also can't hear him either, so that's great. Um, his costume is more in line with what we'll see in Superman Legacy, but I can't wait to see how the T spheres actually play a role in this story. So that'll be fun too. But anyway, with that in mind, what'd you think of this first issue? Did you like it? Did you hate it? You interested in seeing more? I am. I am. Again, I want to see Michael become Mr. Terrific. I want to know if the Spectre plays a role in this because that'd be cool too. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'll catch you all later. This is Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching. As always, may your fandom serve you well.